What does it take to be the best? I started climbing at the age of 4 and competing at the age of 7, and I really remember distinctly watching the older girls and thinking how cool it would be to be in that position, to kind of be battling it out for like the national title, and I thought maybe I could do that. I remember being a little kid and saying to my dad, I want to be a professional athlete, I want to be a competition climber. My dad and I would talk a lot about sacrifice, and my dad would say, do you think you're sacrificing not going out with your friends, not going to birthday parties, not having this lifestyle? Or do you think you're making choices to lead to where you want to go? And I was always like, well, I'm making a choice, I'm not making a sacrifice. And yes, maybe I didn't have the same kind of lifestyle as my peers growing up, but to sit here and say I do my passion as my job and I still absolutely love it is something that not many people get to say, and I know I'm privileged to have that, so I don't really see my choices as sacrifices. Goals are really important to me, and I set goals kind of throughout, and have done throughout my entire life. You know, I set a big goal that I want to achieve and little goals along the way that help towards kind of making that goal seem real and not too distant. In sport, I'm fascinated by seeing how good I can get, so how strong, how fast, how kind of fit can I get in order to pursue like my goals.
5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1.
If I had to choose something to do, hanging off a piece of wood probably wouldn't be it.
You've done it a lot though.
Yeah, I feel like I spent half my life hanging off a beastmaker. I'm really lucky to have such a supportive network around me of people who understand my goals and what it takes for me to achieve them, and people who kind of pick me up when it does fall apart, because it does fall apart sometimes.
It's really hard to move that foot up. Yes, nice.
There's been times where I've been close to losing it and not enjoying what I'm doing, and found it really stressful, really hard, and especially coming back from injury and rehab, and you just, pretty much with any rehab, you go on this like amazing scale of things going really, really, really well, and then it dips off, and that's the point where you're like, this sucks. But I'm just way too stubborn to quit. Mentally preparing for competitions is such a fascinating subject because it's so personal and it's so different for every individual. I think for me, even throughout my career, that's massively changed and developed, and for many years I would feel incredibly nervous or apprehensive, whereas now I don't tend to get that. I'm very content with where I am, what I'm doing, and why I'm there, and I think the why is the really important bit, understanding what you're doing and why.
So Shauna back on. You can see the effort showing. This one counts. In the past we've seen her come out for final boulders with the win already in the bag. Not the case this time.
Yeah. There we go. She secured that hold.
Looking very calm and collected all of a sudden.
Oh, no figure of 4 necessary.
No,
she can just hold that lock off.
The one arm lock off and just rotates around. I think you could see from the look on her face that it took a lot of effort, but she got the job done, and I think she's about to get the job done here as well.
Come on, Shauna.
Shauna Coxsey for the win.
Oh.
Slowly but surely.
Woo.
And she wins.
Elite climbing for sure, and especially training across 3 disciplines, is incredibly demanding on the body and the mind too. Speed climbing, it's fast, it's explosive. You get one shot the same as lead and you're against another person. With bouldering, you have to be ready for anything. There can be any angle, any style of movement. There could be big, huge dynamic movements or teeny tiny delicate movements. On the lead route, I guess it's kind of the same. The movements could be anything, but you're having to face kind of a more endurance base. Your forearms get super pumped, you know, they get full of lactic acid, and it's really a grim feeling. There's a lot of strain going through your fingers because they're your contact with the wall, so the tendons in your fingers. Being on the wall and being uncomfortable is something that I've definitely had to adapt to, and that's not been easy, and it's kind of just been pushing myself into that space. Yeah, for sure I have self-doubt, but I use it, and I use it to get back up and be stronger on the other side.
Shauna Coxsey from Great Britain, overall IFSC, Golden World Champion 2016 and 17.
I don't know if there's another person that comes out when I go on stage. For sure there's like a switch that happens and I go into a different like mode of competing, and I think it's probably one of my best traits as an athlete is that I'm really good at kind of flicking the switch, and as soon as I walk out it's like time to do something.
Can she finish it off in style here, Shauna Coxsey, on her second attempt? Oh, so strong on the lock-off.
Being at that space is a choice that I've made, and I'm content with where I am and what I'm doing, and that's the most important thing, to be able to like focus and perform at that moment. I've said so many times that I feel like I'm only ever competing with the wall and myself. There's nothing I can do to slow my competitors down, and I train as hard as I possibly can to beat my competitors on their best day. Like, I don't want them to have a bad day and for me to win. That's not how I want to win. What does it take to be the best? Belief, determination and desire.
But she's looking really solid now. Come on, Shauna.
She goes for it, and she will not top the boulder.
5 seconds, 4, 3.
Shauna's got 2 seconds to do hers.
Down. Back-to-back victories for Shauna Coxsey. Number 1 seems to be pretty much the only position Shauna knows.
If you have those three things, then you can be the best.